Arsenal at Man City. Go.
You want me to go? We won't leave
Yes.
here today if I go.
No, just go, but restrain yourself. Restrain yourself.
I should
We
restrain
don't have all
myself.
day.
Okay. So, the Arsenal game. I thought that was a technical masterpiece. It was like a chess game between Arteta and Pep for the first 45 minutes. Right? And if the ref had not robbed us of, or the ref had not, the ref didn't do what he did in injury time, that second half would have been even better than the first half. Yeah? To start with, there was a lineup change. Ben White didn't play. He didn't start.
Don't start.
I was surprised. I was expecting Calafiori to come off the bench. So Calafiori started, and maybe it was just they wanted to like rest Ben White against Doku because of Doku being fast and slippery, and they thought, oh, let's get proper, right backs and left backs, or full backs into the game to cope with Savinho and Doku. City scored first. It was a defensive lapse between Gabriel and Saliba. They were not too sure whether they should step up or follow the run. At the end of the day, Saliba did something, Gabriel did the other. It gave, what's his name, Haaland a free pass. And you can't give Haaland those kind of chances. He will definitely put it away. Now, 3 seasons ago, that would have been the opening to a floodgate. Yeah? It would have been 4-5 by probably halftime. But Arsenal hunkered down. They're like, you know what? We got this. We know what to do. Yeah? And the game went on. City just going left, right, holding on to the ball, not really making serious incursions. Then Arsenal get a lot of people I saw on social media were kind of complaining that, there was something wrong with the goal. But I looked at it.
They had a point, but go on.
But not that much. The problem was, once the ref said game on, right, he didn't even blow the whistle immediately. What's his name? Walker was talking to his own player, and he was jogging back. He got to a point, he actually stopped, and he was walking. And the ref was like, Akin, go ahead.
Okay, so this is what actually happened. There was a foul, right?
Mm-hmm.
I forget who was involved. I can't remember. I don't think it's important.
Mm-hmm.
And the referee called, I think Saka was already close to the referee, but the referee called Walker to himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was talking to the two captains, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the foul was on Partey. I think the foul was on Partey. Foul against Partey. So it was about 10 yards from the center circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then while the referee was talking to the two captains, Walker and Saka, Partey moved the ball up through the center circle, moved it about 10 yards. 1 or 2 yards is fine. 10 is aggressive, right? And remember, Walker is a right back. So while Walker was trying to get back to his right back position, Arsenal takes a very quick free kick and the outlet was Martinelli, who is a left winger, and it was going straight at where Walker would have been. That was the problem. That was the problem City had. So I think City have a point.
Okay, so I agree with you, but here's my point. When the ref blew the whistle, right, the free kick wasn't even taken immediately after he blew the whistle. Saka was seen jogging or more or less sprinting towards his right flank. The ball was closer to, to Walker's side of the field. Walker stopped and was talking to his own player instead of jogging back.
Running back, yeah.
Yeah. So by the time they kicked the ball, he was actually close to Martinelli. So what was he going to do before?
He got beat because he's old.
Exactly. but I get it. But VAR checked it. What did they expect the ref to do? Waited till they got back to their place and say, "Are you at your place?" Are you at your place and now blow?
Yeah.
Is that what they
They
expected?
do that for goalkeepers. They don't do that for right backs.
They don't
That's
do
not how it
that for
goes.
right backs. So I'm sorry. Anyway, so Calafiori scores a wonderful, wonderful curved ball, beautiful goal. And I he atoned for the fact that first goal, Savinho spinned him.
Savinho turned him in,
turned him inside out. Then the game kind of balanced, and everybody calmed down. That okay, let's stop this IGG. Let's settle down. Then Arsenal had two glaring chances, offset pieces. The first one, Gabriel was marked by Doku. Doku, compared to Gabriel, is like David and Goliath.
Yeah.
I don't get that. He spun Doku, nodded the ball over. The commentators on our end said that the ref told City that if that head had been on target, he would have blown a free kick against Arsenal because they were impeding Ederson.
They didn't touch him, but go on.
Then the repeat episode. This time around, Walker says, "Doku, you're too small. Let me take." That
was actually an instruction from Pep. Pep had them switch, but go on.
Exactly the same thing happened, but dropped the shoulder, went the other way, scored. The game was balanced. Arsenal was in control. There was nothing. There was no threat per se, right? I see six minutes injury time.
I don't know where it came from.
And they were still playing. I didn't know where it came from. One.
I don't know where the 6 minutes came from.
And they were still playing. 7th minute, 8th minute. I'm like, ref, what's going on? Blow your whistle, right? Then, Trossard badged into, was it Gundogan or Bernardo Silva?
I think it was Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo Silva badged into him, right? And he kept on playing and he cleared the ball like a defensive clearing. And next thing I saw was a free kick, and I'm like, yellow card again. I'm like, for the badge? I actually thought it was for the badge. I thought it was for the shoulder I'm like, that can't be a yellow card. And there was confusion. The ref and VAR and the commentary said initially that it was for the badge, only for PGML to now send a tweet later on to say, no, it was for the fact that he kicked the ball. And I'm like, that is like 20 microseconds after the ref blew his whistle. There is no way he could have heard the whistle. He was playing. That was no delay of play. For me, delay of play is when you acknowledge that there's been a foul and you intentionally kick the ball. He didn't even know there was a foul. This is not the Declan Rice case. Declan Rice knew there was a foul and he kicked the ball. He didn't even know. He was just playing. He was just playing normally as if, oh, I wanted to clear the ball. The game is over. Halftime. Let's go into the whatever. And the ref said there's a delay of game for that. This just reminds me of Van Persie at Nou Camp several years ago.
Yep.
There is no way there's delay of play. There is no way, right? And the ref, once again, letter of the law. That's the new name for Arsenal now. Letter of the law football club. He goes letter of the law and say you kicked the ball, give him a second yellow card. We all saw Doku. 5 minutes before, there was a free kick. He knew there was a free kick. He went there, he kicked the ball. And you could see Michael Oliver saying, go on. What happened to the letter of the law there? Why is letter of the law always applicable to Arsenal? Once that happened, I said, because I was watching the game where I was, I told you, right? I told my little man that was with me, I said, the best we'll probably get out of this game will be a draw, right? Because 45 minutes is going to be 11v10 defensive. That's what it's going to be. There's no game anymore.
You thought City was going to score at least 2 goals and win.
Exactly. I said the best way. That's what I said the best we're going to get out of this will be a draw. That's exactly what I told him. Because I said there's no way you will not crack under this kind of pressure. There's no way, right? The team did all they could do, but the ref already spoiled the game. Raya was immense. The defense was immense. The whole team, immense, right? Now, going back to City, I told you 2 weeks ago, City don't need help. The help that they're getting is becoming too much. This is the same ref that did not give Kovacic red card last season at the Emirates for two fouls. 2 of them were red card offense on their own, right? This is the same ref that did not give Liverpool the penalty against City, right? what are we talking about here? You guys tell me it's incompetence. I've told you, Akin, I'm worried. This doesn't sound like incompetence to me. This sounds like bias. For Arsenal, you're looking for a reason to give them a red card. For the other teams, you're looking for a reason not to give them a red card. That's what's going on. It's not incompetence. It is bias. And I'm hoping, I told you this 2 weeks ago, last week, I'm hoping it is bias. I'm hoping it's not fraud. I've said this and I'll continue to say it. I'm hoping it is bias because this seems like you don't like Arsenal. Arteta, since he came on board, 18 Arsenal players have been sent off. Guess who's next? 7. We don't play. The next team had 7 people sent off. That's a 9 player difference. And you can't tell me Arsenal is the most indisciplined team in the EPL. That's not true. But when it comes to Arsenal, the letter of the law, you're looking for an excuse to send Arsenal off. I've seen people getting sent off for imaginary tackles that didn't happen. 3 seasons ago, Granit Xhaka tackled and you sent him off. Whereas Kovacic tackled somebody, studs up to their knee, to their ankle, twice in a game. And you're saying, yeah, you don't want to affect the game. Akin, this is not incompetence. It is bias. Let's call it a spade. I rest my case.
Did you just say 18 minus 7 is 9? Are you okay?
Oh, sorry. 18 minus. You see what these people have turned me through.
So,
guys, I had A1 in math in school. Don't mind me.
People who don't know, Yinka is one of like the best math students I've ever met in my life. It just comes naturally to him, so he must be really fired up.
I'm really pissed off, man.
If he's doing, your boys won't let you get away with this one. If he's doing 18 minus 7 equals 9. Okay, so I am going to be the voice of calm and the voice of reason. And I'm gonna ignore the referees and just talk about the game. That's just me. That's that. So I will bring that counterbalance to this discussion.
Please go ahead.
So I told you Arsenal had to go to the Etihad and win. It's just that simple. Again, boxing is how I frame my sports watching experience because it was my first sport, right? So in boxing, they always say, you got to knock out the champion. You can't outpoint the champion, right? Because guess what? All the refs will give every 50-50 or sometimes even 65-35 will give it to the champion. We are not the champion. We haven't been the champion in 20 years, right? You got to go get it, Yinka. You got to go get it. So the number one thing that must stop today, no more silly fouls. Okay? Even the first yellow from Trossard was lazy. That was a lazy tackle. It did not have to be done. It was a professional foul that came out of laziness. Go for it.
Akin, I agree with you, but that foul or those kind of fouls are not unique to Arsenal only.
I know. But Trossard has a bad game. Trossard had a bad game. I get that. It was lazy today.
But there were fouls too on the other side of people pulling.
I know.
All I'm asking for is a level playing field. I'm not asking for too much.
You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it, Yinka.
Oh,
so Arsenal have a decision to make. Do you want to win the title or do you want to bitch? Make up your mind. Because there's no level playing field. Okay? If there was a level playing field, Nottingham Forest was punished, Leicester were punished, Everton were punished, City have 115 charges, and they're still playing. So don't wait for an official to save you. Which official? They're all facsimiles of each other. They all come from the same area. They're all white in a multicultural country like England.
Yeah.
They won't even let non-white people get into the game. Come on now. So don't expect anything from officials, Yinka. So you cannot show up to the Etihad. Yinka, 1 second. Just hold on. Think about it this way. You said it last week. We said it last week. City were home on Wednesday in the Champions League. Arsenal were on the road in a different country on Thursday in the Champions League.
Yeah.
They asked Pep about this. He had nothing to say about Arsenal. He didn't want to do. But once they asked him about advantage or disadvantage, then he had a lot to say. Oh, I can give you many, many examples of all the times we had a disadvantage, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, now you have something to say? So, Yinka, everybody's in. Look, everybody's in on this. You have to go punch the champion in the mouth. I am sick of excuses. Okay? Declan Rice, that should not have happened. That was bias. That was incompetence. That was everything. Today, it was bias. It was incompetence. It was all of that. Don't care. Be better than City. That is the remit. The remit is you need to go be better than City. And today, Arsenal showed they can be better than City. So what needs to happen now, Yinka? City are 2 points ahead, right? 2 points ahead. If Arsenal had won today, they were 30 seconds from winning today. If they had won today, they would have gone 1 point up on City, right? So what you need to do now, the game, the return leg next year in London is a must win.
Yeah.
Is a must win. Okay? Is a must win. So you need to win that and you need to match all their other results and you're champions. Because Liverpool cannot, they can't outlast City. They can't outlast, you know, the one.
Don't write them off. Don't write them off.
No, Yinka, let's talk. There's levels to this thing. Liverpool, the real God action that Arsenal put up today, nobody else can do it. Nobody.
But at the same time, the refs will probably not F Liverpool over like they just did.
I know, but they've done it before for Liverpool as well. But Yinka,
yeah, they have. Yeah, that's true. Actually,
I think
I take that back.
Liverpool are contenders. Okay, but
I take that back.
One team does not lose at home. One team cannot lose on the road. Those are the two teams that will contest for this thing. Okay.
Yeah.
It's been, I think, November 2022 was the last time they lost at home to Brentford. You know, and Arsenal cannot be beat on the road, even with a man down, even playing against the referee and VAR. That at this point, that's just the reality, even without their captain. So the reality, I think Arsenal fans are so chicken, they can't even admit that their team is good. Your team is good. Your team is excellent. You know, your team has a historic defense. You know, walk in your power and just go beat this team and stop being chickens. I'm sick of it. You know, I'm tired of hearing about the referees. They will continue to F Arsenal over. Get ready for it. Doesn't matter. Do well anyway. Be better anyway. And Arsenal is doing it. They improved their goalkeeper position. This time last year, Kivior would have been the left back. Now it's Calafiore. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This time last year, we had one Ben White. Now we have one Ben White and a Urian Timber. You know? This time last year, we will be dying if Odegaard went out. We're still dying with Odegaard out. So, bad example. But my point is, just be better. You know, there is doubt in these guys. Rodri went out. We didn't talk about that. They punched Rodri in the mouth twice. They bullied the bully, Kai Havertz and Partey.
But Akin, time out. That Rodri incident. Akin, to be fair, Rodri baited Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz was running straight, and Rodri jumped in front of him, right, waiting because he knows the refs are always looking. They know already.
With the first play of the game.
I'm disappointed.
And it went to VAR. It should never have gone to VAR.
It should never have gone to VAR. God bless you. And I'm like, these guys are actually considering this. Is this what we're doing now? But I agree with you, Akin. And I'll hand over back to you now. I agree with you. And I think you are absolutely spot on, right? And I think that's where I've gotten to also, right? It's just that, you know me and refs. We are like... Right? Because after the game, if you noticed, right, the Arsenal players felt very, very angry because they thought we should have won that.
Yeah.
And Arteta, also in his interview, when they asked him about the trust side, he said, "What do you want me to say? I don't got anything to say. You have the footage. Whatever you conclude, you conclude. That's not my business." I love that mentality. Now go take this anger for the next 3 home games that you have. Go beat the living hell out of Leicester, out of Southampton, right? Don't drop points and just wait. Wait for City when they come in February to the Emirates and flog their behinds.
You have to
flog their behinds, right? And I think that is where it's getting to now, because these guys are, it's like you're going into a battle and you expect a fair fight, and you were not expecting somebody to be dubious. Now the bout happens, and the first time they were dubious. They're like, "Guy, what's your problem?" Then the second time, the same thing. You're like, "Oh, okay. So this is how it is. Okay, no problem." So that means I'll come into games now with the mindset, right, that you guys will be dubious. You guys will be against me, and I'm going to factor you into my game plan. And between you, the dubious refs, everybody will smash all of you together. That's what you're saying, and I 1,000% agree with you.
You gotta punch.
1,000% agree with you.
You can't outpoint the champion, Yinka. And this is not any ordinary champion. This is a 4-time back-to-back winner. This is Pep, who has won everywhere he's been. This is Pep, who is a better coach than Arteta. And Arteta may be one of the greats in the making, but Pep is the greatest, or at least in the top 5 that England has ever seen, if we're being honest. In the top 5 that Spain has ever seen. In the top 5 that Germany has ever seen. Those are the places where he's coached. Pep is a historic figure in the coaching category. Everyone does false nine now. Was anyone playing false nine before Pep? Pep, with one real defender, had a team finish with 18 goals conceded, Yinka, in La Liga. 18 goals. And if you look back at the years he spent, which other defender did he have that knew how to defend? He had one that knew how to defend. But he designed a system that only conceded 18 goals in 36 games. 38 games. Pep na Ebora is not a normal guy. You know what I'm saying? So anyone who thought, oh, Pep got punched in the mouth, is going to go cry in the corner now. They've not been watching. His team is going to be resilient. His team are going to be bullies. But he said something in the press conference before the game that resonated with me. When they asked him about the Arsenal defense. And he's like, they're good, but they're also bigger than us. And that resonated because I'm like, you said Arteta was playing chess. Arteta is literally building a team just to beat City.
Yep.
So that's why everybody in the back line is a giant.
It's a giant. And Merino that will have joined is 6'4",
will be a giant.
Another giant.
Will be a giant. And Yinka, David Raya should enjoy right now, because the day a tall David Raya becomes available, David Raya is going to the bench. He's going to the bench because that ruthlessness which Henry has talked about in Pep is in Arteta as well.
Yeah.
If Arteta can improve Saka today, Saka is gone. It will be on the bench the very next day.
Yeah.
Okay. If Nico Williams comes to Arsenal, bye Martinelli. Nobody cares. I said it last week that the reason we're where we are today is Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus is now playing less than he played at City.
Yep.
And he is single-handedly the man who took us from 23 points down to 5 points down against City. It's 1,000% on him. He was the soul of the team. He was the everything of the team. He was the guy who led the pressing up front. He was the guy, because guess who he replaced? He replaced Lacazette, who could not run. Lacazette was 30 yards behind every attacking play. And then Gabriel came and closed that gap. He turned the team around. And now he's playing less, Yinka, than he played at City. And he left City because it wasn't. You saw he tried to fight Haaland today.
Yeah.
At the whistle.
At the whistle.
So, and then there were 3 consecutive times that he led the defense today.
Yeah. That he bullied Foden off the ball.
Yeah, he made a tackle. He guided, he was intelligent, all of that. I mean, that's coaching, Yinka. This man was mad that he wasn't playing for City. He comes to you 2 years later, he's not playing for you. You put him out there and he's putting his body on the line for you.
Yeah. It says a lot about the leader who's coaching him and a lot about the player himself.
Exactly.
I tell you, people work for people. People don't work for clubs or the firm or organizations. Yeah. People work for people. Yeah. And talking about him and Haaland having that spark, when City equalized, Haaland picked up the ball and threw the ball at Saliba's head. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Go watch the goal again.
Wow.
After they score, he picked the ball. Saliba had his jersey over his face, so he didn't know. The ball, someone threw the ball, and he just thought the ball hit him. Haaland picked up the ball and knocked it on his head.
Wow, I didn't see that.
And so that was part of the things. There was nothing. There was no card. There was nothing. That was part of the thing that led to the spat that, and they're like, and Haaland should be careful, right? I know you have the might of the whatever in your favor. Yeah, you have all that in your favor. He should be humble, dude. Be humble, frankly. He did something against Inter Milan after the game. He was talking to Acerbi that was like, "You've been tugging on my shirt all day. Do you want my shirt?" You didn't see that.
No, I kind of like it.
He did.
I kind of like it. Yeah, that's the kind of thing Ronaldo would do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing Ronaldo would do.
Come on, man. But
so you're saying he's feeling himself.
He's beginning to feel himself, right? He's putting his money where his mouth is, so he can feel himself.
It's justified, Inka. This man.
I get it.
So he had the record, right, for most goals scored in the first 4 games of the season. Now he has the record he's breaking his own record for the most games scored in the first 5 games. Most goals scored, right? And now he's scored 100 for City, but more than that, Inka, in the Premier League alone, he scored more goals than games played.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's now at 73 in 71 Premier League games.
Yep.
And again, we used to think 1 in 2 was amazing. Now he's scoring more than 1 in 1.
But you see, it goes back to style of play. Goes back to how teams play. The same Haaland, put him in the Norwegian national team.
They don't qualify for anything.
Even though he has a Martin Odegaard behind him. But so this is why when people say, "Oh, Haaland," I'm like, you should give Haaland his flowers, but at the same time, give that whole City team their flowers.
Yeah.
They play to his strength. They know the way he plays and they play to his strength. Yeah. But overall, Akin, that first half was perfection in terms of advertisement for Premier League football. Yeah. Right? You could see it had everything. You could see Nicolas Jova, that set piece coach for Arsenal. He should get a raise almost every season. They knew exactly what they were doing. It wasn't a fluke. They knew exactly what they were doing. And now, somebody said, I read it on Twitter, someone said, Arteta is like showing different facets of his team. They can pack the bus if they choose to, right? They can press like a Liverpool team that Klopp put together, and they can out-City if they choose to. So they have multiple identities, and they can play multiple ways. So I agree with you, right? It's unfortunate this is the situation that Arsenal find themselves in. But you're right. You have to just play what's in front of you. If it includes the VAR, the refs, whoever it includes, you need to face them and you need to punch them in the mouth. Yeah. And after you won the league, throw the middle finger at them, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. So I think I would wrap up my part of this way. Arsenal has major injuries, and you can still argue the team facing the team that faced City on the road today were better than the team that went to City last year.
Yep.
And managed to get a draw.
I totally agree.
I think I hate social media so much. The chatter back then was Arsenal was scared and should have gone for the win. Nobody said City, the champions, should have won at home, which is kind of crazy. You know, if you're facing this timid team, why didn't you win? Why didn't you score? It was a goalless draw.
Akin, you know this already.
Yeah.
You know this already. Yeah. The fans of the other clubs will tell you we hate Arsenal fans, we dislike Arsenal. Yeah. Someone will even say, oh, their fans are this, their fans are that. That's why. Everybody does. Right? The whole establishment, even the press. I watched Michael Richards almost fight, what's his name? Rob Keane. What's his name? Roy Keane today. Roy Keane
today.
Really? When he said Saliba and Gabriel, right, had a fantastic game to hold City for almost 45 minutes and they could only score one fluke goal at the end of the day. Roy Keane said, is that not what they should have done? Shouldn't they have? And I'm like...
Forget Roy Keane. It's just a curmudgeonly fella. You know, it's just the man has no joy. He's never had joy as a player, as a commentator.
Yeah.
I think if he tried to coach, it would be the worst thing that ever happened in the history of football.
In Sunderland. He was fired.
Of course he was fired.
Of course he was fired.
You think Roy Keane can improve anybody? No.
Nobody. He can't even improve himself. But I think we should wrap this up on your point. And
okay.
You've said a lot of fantastic things. This might be the best thing that's come out of your mouth, right?
I'll take the backhanded compliments.
You just need to go bash. I think you've convinced me, right? Henceforth, I'm not even going to talk about refs anymore. I'm not even going to talk about the injustice anymore, because right now you've convinced me it should be in Arsenal's psyche that this is always going to be there. So be better. Right? Yeah. You have to be pristine. No mistakes. If you make a mistake, overcome it and still get the results. That's what it is at this point. Yeah.
And honestly, Yinka, and that could mean get a striker in January. Stop trying to do this the hard way. You know? So, Yinka, Bayern Munich is a bigger club than Arsenal, right? I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Didn't they bring in Choupo-Moting one season?
Yeah.
Half a season? And then he stayed through. You might need to get somebody like that.
Yeah.
Who may not be prolific, but in the smaller games, he knows how to occupy center backs. He knows how to make, center forward movements. Bigger clubs than you do this all the time. An emergency auxiliary number 9. Maybe that's what Arsenal needs to do, instead of saying, oh, I can only buy someone if they're much better than everyone else I have. But all your backup players are not better than anyone else out there. That's crazy. There are players on City that are not great. You know what I'm saying? But they play anyway. So what are we talking about?
I do.
So it may include having to do that, in January. That may be how you win the league. There's no world-class number 9 coming to save the day. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
You may need to go get your own version of Choupo-Moting.
Okay. Well said.
On that note.
Absolutely spot on.
Yinka.
Yes, sir.
On that note, take us home.